I'm in Munich right now.
And I found myself in situations where I just had to try and figure things out. I very spontaneously decided to go to Berlin. But very much to my dismay, I was running out of clean clothes and also clean underwear. So I had to try and figure out where I could do some laundry on the very last day before it was time for me to fly to Berlin.
Oh, Jesus, I really do need a haircut. I just want to say that there are a lot of things that as a Latin American, it's just like a huge culture shock when you do go outside of Latin America to a more developed country to because like the laundry room, it's just full self-service and it's completely unmanned. Like there's nobody here to tend to your things. Like you're just this is like what you just and people just leave their things and they leave because of course the washing machine takes like an hour and then the dryer takes like another hour. I cannot leave because this is like an hour walk from the hotel and I have to take an Uber. I'm not gonna take an Uber to go and then another Uber to come back and then another to go again and then another to come back again to pick up the stuff. Like I'm just gonna wait here, so I brought my laptop to work on things. But it's truly like leaves me perplexed that people this is just unmanned. I was very lucky that a lady helped me get the washing machine going and explained to me how to get the detergent for the clothes. I was really, really ashamed because she just she heard me speaking English and she started speaking English to me and she explained to me how to pay and how to do stuff and she just felt the need to be a good person and come up to me and it kind of explained how everything worked and I was like I was like, how do I get, I was talking to myself more than anybody else and I was like, how do I get detergent? She was like, you gotta pay extra for that. I was like, okay, thank you, really, really do appreciate it. Just like doing laundry in Germany. What an experience.
Update on the laundry situation. The laundromat? The place closed at 10 p.m. I arrived at somewhat of 9 and something. Like, I left. Everything in Munich is super freaking far away. And apparently that is the case in every German city because when I was looking for things to do in Berlin, somebody was joking around saying that everything in Berlin is super freaking far away. So, if you search for things close by, it says, yeah, sure, this is near you. This is 12 kilometers away. It's like 12 kilometers away is already outside of the city when you are in Buenos Aires. Anyways, I digress. The point is that the laundromat closed at 10 and I arrived like just in time to put in my laundry and then like to put in the dryer and then the dryer finished. I thought, okay, great, this is finished. And then as soon as I opened the dryer, I touched the clothes and I was like, oh, but this is still sort of wet. And it made sense because it's like, it was just 15 minutes. I was like, that was gonna be fast. And obviously it wasn't. Like, it's just not completely dry. And then I was about to close the dryer and to like try and pay for another 15 minutes on the dryer. As soon as the clock hit 10, the lights at the laundromat simply shut down. And the system to pay for a new batch of like another 15 minutes in the dryer, it just disappeared. It was just not there. There was a weird screen. It's like, yeah, it's 10. Like, off. Just go somewhere else. You should have done this before. So now, what I'm having to do is that I'm having to sort of air out the clothes so that maybe they will dry a little bit more before tomorrow. Because it's not like I can go early tomorrow to the laundromat to like finish the load or anything like that. No, I have to travel. I have to be at the airport at 8 in the morning tomorrow to go to Berlin at 9 and to arrive at 10 in the morning. So my best bet is to try to get them to air out as much as possible right now. And then as soon as I land in Berlin, I have to find another laundromat and like do another dryer. That's impressive. And then because I spent the entire night, like I had to work and I had to either like do the laundry or have dinner. Because the hotel restaurant closed at 10 as well. And so I was like, okay, I either do my laundry or I have dinner because I cannot. If I have dinner, then I'm gonna arrive a lot later to the laundry. So I made it because for a second, I considered like first having dinner and then going to the laundromat, and I was like, nope, laundromat. I need to clean my clothes because I'm gonna go to Berlin and all of my clothes are dirty. I did go on a shopping spree and bought some new clothes, which I don't regret because they're very nice. But I needed my clothes. I needed underwear. I did not buy underwear and I needed underwear. So my dinner is going to be this piece of dessert that I'd saved from the afternoon and half a Coke. That's it. That's my dinner. Not really super happy about that, but it is what it is. Anywho, I'll see what happens.
After the whole ordeal with the laundry, I woke up the next day to find the clothes had actually dried out during the night, and I was able to pack everything normally and head to the airport early for my flight to Berlin.
Train? What do you mean I gotta take a train to the gate? What?
After arriving there, I just went directly to drop off my bags at a drop-off point close to the Airbnb because I arrived early in the morning and I couldn't check in until after 2 p.m. The Uber from the airport to the drop-off point was ridiculously expensive, but I guess it makes sense if the ride is almost an hour long. That super long cart ride did give me the opportunity to realize the same thing that I realized about Munich though. Berlin is incredibly beautiful and green, and it made me catch my breath just how beautiful it was.
I feel like they're playing the biggest game of ninja you're ever going to see. So, process so far is I made it from the airport to the hostel, because I thought it was a hotel, but it's a hostel, where I made a reservation to just drop my bags there while I wait for it to be 3 a.m. until I can actually check in on my Airbnb. And I'm on my way to get something to eat because I haven't eaten anything all day and I woke up really, really early at 6 in the morning. But look at this beautiful park that is walking distance from the Airbnb. Because the hostel that I booked for the bags is also walking distance from the Airbnb. Because I was like, I'm just gonna move this from one place to the other. It needs to be close. And so I checked where the Airbnb was, and then I was like, okay, time to eat. And this is a park that is walking distance from the Airbnb while I walk to the coffee shop. And it's a coffee shop that I saw in another guy's YouTube video for his Berlin weekend. So I guess we'll see.
Anywho, after dropping off my bags, it was time to be a tourist and have some breakfast.
Now, something that I must say is weird from the start, and maybe this is just how it is every other place in the world, but it's definitely not like this in Venezuela, and it's definitely not like this in Argentina, and I'm pretty sure it's not like this in Chile. Why are there just random spaces out on the street where you can park? Like it's not a parking lot or even actually next to the sidewalk. It's just a random designated space in the middle of the street for you to park. And that's it. Why? Why not a parking lot? Why not next to the sidewalk? Why in the middle of the street? That is random.
After having breakfast at the coffee shop that I saw in someone else's Berlin blog and having the best freaking French toast that I've had in my entire life, it was time to be a little bit more of a tourist and visit Charlottenburg Palace, which I hope that I am pronouncing correctly. This is a palace that has been deemed part of the world's heritage. This was the first time ever that I went to a castle at all, and I have to say that I don't think I'd ever grasped how big castles actually were before. It was so big, you could very easily get lost, and it had so many things, it was overwhelming. I could have sworn that I took more pictures and videos, especially of the chapel type of thing they had in the castle, which was breathtaking with the level of details and sculptures they had, but apparently I didn't. One thing that I was not expecting was how everything just smelled old, and there was a lot of humidity in the place. But I guess that makes sense when you are trying to preserve things that are over 200 years old. Also, cleaning that castle must have been a pain in the ass, and I know kings and queens had a multitude of people working for them to clean those places, but it still must have been a near impossible task. This is also one of those times where poor planning came into play, and I was just so lucky that people apparently look at my face and think, yeah, she doesn't look like a bad person. While I was doing the castle tour and walking around the gardens, my phone was running out of battery, and there was just nowhere inside where I could plug my phone to charge. I had enough presence of mind to write down the address of the drop-off point of my bags in a piece of paper before it completely died, and then I was lucky enough that I asked two complete strangers on the street for the favor of calling an Uber for me, and I had to give them my credit card details to log into their app. It was also a good thing that I left my bags only 2 blocks away from the Airbnb, and I also wrote down the check-in instructions before my phone died. But anyways, seeing as how my phone was dead, it was time to take a breather at the Airbnb and recharge before heading out to get some dinner. It was just so disappointing.
Cool stuff, bro. I look at myself in the mirror and I cannot stun myself. So I had no signal, no internet, no nothing.
Why are people looking at me so much?
Probably don't laugh in her face and say, hey, you look like you're lost and you look like you don't know where you are. You could be the nicest guy on the planet and that will still feel threatening.
Berlin is really freaking huge. Technically, when we were out of the city, we were still in the city in Berlin.